Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the board game shelf, and here we have early American Chrononauts. So I played the normal Chrononauts game before, and I was so taken aback by it. Like I thought it was so cool. This is basically a time traveling game that explores different possibilities, specifically early American. The normal version of Chrononauts kind of goes over like the 20th century, 21st century kind of stuff, but essentially you're forming you're trying to form a timeline, and if you mess up one part of the timeline, then it affects other things. For example, Declaration of Independence is paradoxed if the card with this symbol is turned over. There is a prime there's like a prime version of each of them, right? So if this is turned over, paradox, right? So let's see, what's the 1775. Where might that be? If I can find it. Are these even in order? I do not know. Maybe not. 1770. Okay, well. But yeah. A lot going. Yeah. Here we go. Shots fired at Lexington. So let's say you have these two cards right here. All right. Shots fired at Lexington and Declaration of Independence. All right. So basically, so this one says ripples. So if this one gets flipped over, that means 1776, 1898, and 1904 would be affected. So if you flip this over, instead of shots fired at Lexington, Concord Army quietly seized, which means that this, and so now that we have this symbol prime, this is paradoxed, basically. It's a fairly complex game because it's not there's not just timeline cards. There's a bunch of other like cards that have to do with like various like abilities and time travel, and like you're trying to like mess up time, and there's like action cards and things like that. But I think another driving force behind this is you're not trying to make like the real timeline. You get an ID card. So for example, let's see, I think. Here's an ID card right here. Smithsonian shopping list. So basically, if you get this at the start of the game, then to win you must have these three artifacts on the table in front of you at the end of your turn: Franklin's kite, pollution-free flying car, and live dodo birds. And there's a bunch of artifact cards as well. And that obviously, to have these particular artifacts, certain things have to happen in the timeline, right? I think there are other ID cards are like this one, where you want to have the timeline look like this, where like normal 1776, altered 1781, and altered 1866. Dutch arrive and South wins the Civil War. Only halfway there. It just kind of gives some explanation of like the timeline that you're from, and you're trying to alter the timeline so that it's more like your home, essentially. The name's the thing. Who can explain the fascination of fire? Francis Scott Who, and so on and so forth. Right. A lot of things going on in this game, and it has been a long time since I've played this, so I couldn't tell you everything that's going on. But those are the things that I remember, and I think it's really cool. A lot of cool ideas there, and I hope to get the rest of the Chrononauts stuff as well, because I think this goes up to like the 1800s or whatever, and the normal Chrononauts goes from like 1900s onward. And I believe you could combine them as well if you wanted. Yeah, you set up the whole timeline like normal, and then things get messed up. There's ripple effects and things like that. There are other games out there that deal with like like history and stuff like that, but this is like my favorite game that I've come across that deals with like alternative history in a way that's very satisfactory to me, that I find very satisfying. Basically kind of like a bunch of like what if scenarios, right? I think that's really cool. So, but yeah, hopefully I learn this game again and figure it out so I can teach other people how to play, because I think that would be really, really neat. So yeah, there you go. Early American Chrononauts. Hope to get some hope to sort of like complete the collection so that can have like a mega game with like a big timeline of like American history and everything all the way up to like the 2000s or stuff like that. Anyway, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, all the best.